All right, sounds good. And like I just told Jade, my camera's sometimes glitchy,
Mm.
so it might look freaky at a certain point. So be prepared for that. It'll
All
look
right.
like it's being haunted or something.
That's in
Uh,
theme.
yeah. So all right, I've got some questions here for you. So, what drew you to Scared to Death when you first read the script?
I saw myself. I mean, Jasper is a low-level production assistant, and he's just basically trying to make a name for himself within the film business. And I feel like, as an actor, I can I relate to that struggle of trying to, get your name out there, make great work. And I feel like I wanted to dive more into his psyche and see, what's going on with this guy. And I feel like that's what really pulled me into this project.
Sure. And the film has a mix of supernatural horror and satire about filmmaking itself. So, what appealed to you most about that balance? Was it the satire or something else?
Yeah, I think I love the supernatural. It's the unknown. I mean, it's this gray area, science. There's a lot of things in the world that science can't really explain. So I think it's really fascinating when a project tries to, peel the layers back of, what's real, what's fake. Um, that has always piqued my interest. And then the satire part too, I feel like you can't take life too seriously. And I just think, yeah, it was an interesting combination, having that supernatural and the comedy. Um, there was just so much to work with there, and I think it made for a really interesting, unique experience with the two.
And when it comes to the character, how would you describe your character without giving away spoilers? I'm sure you don't want to totally give everything away in the interview.
Yeah, I mean, I would say he is a professional. He's professional. He has a hustler mentality. He will basically do anything necessary to get what he wants and to achieve success, even if it means, doing some things that might not be morally right without saying too much.
And of course, there are people like that in real life. So that's like a commentary on the person who will do anything to climb up that ladder.
Definitely, yeah. It's a big part of the business. Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's a lot of bad actors that will, yeah. I mean, they sometimes got to step on the little guy to get up, and I think this definitely, speaks on that issue within the industry.
And was there a scene in the movie that felt especially intense or memorable to shoot?
Yeah, the seance was definitely intense. That was really intense. The stakes were high. Everybody was scared to death. Nobody wanted to die. Um, and then also too, there were some sequences in the film. Without spoiling too much, I think that was really intense. There was a lot of movement and
Oh yeah.
yeah, there was a lot of movement involved and like rehearsals with like the fighting sequence. So I think that was really intense. Yeah, I felt like I was gonna die.
And you have to try to make it look realistic. So
Of
you
course,
almost
yeah.
have to like if you want it to be done well, that is, unless you're satirizing fight scenes and
Yeah,
making it look fake
yeah, you got to
or
go
something.
for it. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing too is it requires a lot of mental and physical energy to bring that. So I think that's why it felt so intense. I felt like I was running a marathon in that scene.
And horror sets can sometimes produce these strange stories. So, did anything unexpected happen during the production?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if somebody was pulling a prank, but yeah, there was these really creepy porcelain dolls
Oh,
throughout
yeah.
the house, and I swear sometimes like it would be there, and then I would go to like Crafty or whatever, and then I would come back, doll wasn't there, it was just gone. So that was super weird. And then there was like a piano in the main seance room, and the owner of the house said that this guy, like I forgot the name of the dude or the ghost, but she basically said that there was a ghost living in the house and he doesn't like it when you touch his piano. So nobody would sit on the piano or play it or anything like that. So I thought that was really spooky.
So you're saying this was like supposed to be a real haunted house that you were shooting the
Yeah,
movie in,
yeah.
or
So yeah, I mean, it's I forgot when the house was built, but I think it was built in like the 1880s or 1890s, and apparently it's one of the most haunted houses in Altadena
oh,
slash Pasadena. So yeah, it's
nice,
real.
nice.
It's the real deal.
And so Jade said that everybody got along with each other pretty much on the set. So is that true, or
Yeah, no, I mean everybody was so like easygoing, and passionate. Yeah, no fights,
that's good
no
to
fist
hear. That's
fights
good
or
to hear.
anything, no
Although
screaming
it's good for like
matches.
a gossip column,
Yeah, no,
you
everybody
know.
was super down to earth and friendly. So I'm very fortunate that yeah, no fist fights broke out.
Yeah. So that's almost more like a Hollywood stereotype or whatever, or a movie stereotype that
Yeah, I mean, I mean, it definitely happens. There could be a
sure.
lot of turmoil on set or something's not going right. Things are going wrong. But yeah, no, I was super fortunate that we had an amazing team of people that were yeah, they didn't like to fight, so that helped.
So how did you collaborate with the director Paul Boyd regarding the tone of the film? Were there any interesting things that you learned about the movie or just movie making in general from that?
Yeah, well, Paul said he had a totally different um, idea of what Jasper would be, and he said it wasn't until he saw my self tape that he was like, "That's Jasper, like that's what I'm going for." So it's really interesting that he had this, he had one idea, and then it totally changed after watching whatever I did. But this was kind of a commentary on himself and his personal experience in the business. Paul has been doing this for an incredibly long time, and he's like, he's done it all, and I think he really collaborated with me in terms of just feeling like Jasper. Like he's going for greatness. He wants to achieve success. And I think just, talking with Paul about his journey and how he started, I think it really, I put myself in his shoes and yeah, it just made it super
Yeah.
real and authentic for me, to get into that headspace.
And everybody has a starting point, so it's interesting to get some advice from people who have been in here or in a certain industry for a longer amount of time.
Yeah, wisdom's invaluable. Yeah, I mean, the whole goal is you learn from their mistakes or what they did or what worked for them. Yeah, I think it's incredibly invaluable. So I'm super fortunate that I got to I worked with him on Scared to Death, and then I also worked with him on another project. So I'm incredibly
Wow.
grateful for his mentorship.
So, what personally scares you more, the paranormal horror or some real life situations?
Yeah, I think it's I think they both they're both frightening, but I think it's the real life stuff that's the most terrifying because I think that within the supernatural, you can immediately say, "Oh, that's not real. That's fake." Like, "Oh, it's just
Sure.
like it's not. It's never actually happened, or there's nothing to prove it." Whereas real life situations, it's real. There's facts. I think that's more unsettling to me that something so horrible actually happened. That
And
creeps me out.
there are some other people out there who have the exact opposite view. They're more like they don't even consider it a horror movie unless there's some sort of supernatural thing going on, which is
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's, like anything, there's different subgenres of film. So yeah, I mean, I think supernatural or more real. I mean, I think, in my personal opinion, it's all horror. But I think the supernatural though definitely can. I think when you take something maybe that's a little more grounded in reality and you sprinkle like a little supernatural elements in it, I think that also is a really interesting, you know, um, angle. I like that.
So to build on what Jade was talking about, did the cast do anything fun behind the scenes to break tension after filming these scarier sequences or anything like that? You know, what was the fun like on the set?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, well, Jade's a dancer, so she was dancing around in between takes and filming, TikTok videos or whatever. But I think that was the thing too, is even though you're shooting on a really haunted house per se, um, it gets less scary when there's like 50 crew members and you're on hour 8. So I think in general we were all just kind of delirious and having fun and telling stories about our childhood and our favorite, what's our favorite food, bands, um, having fun, relaxing in between. Even before we even started shooting, we knew it was going to be a pretty intense film. So we actually, to break, I don't know if it was like breaking ice, but we went to it's one of those like escape rooms. I don't know if you've heard of that.
Okay, all right,
Yeah, we did like a hard escape room, which was like not, it wasn't relaxing, but we did that, which honestly really helped break the ice, and I feel like
sure, sure.
doing that, created a good bond between us all.
And what do you hope audiences take away from this film besides the scares?
I think it's just a great commentary on like humanity. It's just everybody starts somewhere, everybody has a dream. And I think with Jasper, it kind of starts with this dream and ambition to be a successful director. So I don't know. I hope people are just moved by that and just realizing that, you can do anything you want in this world if you just stick with it.
True, and that's similar to uh, what Jade said also in the other interview.
Yeah.
So, looking back now, what's the one moment from filming Scared to Death that you'll probably never forget? I know that's kind of a big question, but
Yeah, I mean it's hard to choose one, but I said in the last interview I did, I said that the scene that I loved doing the most was it was a scene between me, Kurt, and Bill, and we basically had to go under the house because the power went out, and that whole scene was basically improvised. So Bill was saying, Bill was going at it, Kurt was going at it, and they just like, it was almost like they were trying to one up each other on the jokes. So that was a lot of fun. It was such a blast improvising with those two guys. So I think that's one that'll stick with me for sure.
and so the movie is streaming now. Is there anything else you would like to say about it? Like to I guess
Yeah.
reel people in or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's about it follows Jasper, a young production assistant who's trying to make a name for himself, and he comes up with the idea to do a seance. They're making a film about a seance, a haunted house. So he wants to get that real life experience for the actors so
Sure.
they can get involved, and things go really bad. So I think if you're a fan of just like the supernatural horror comedy, this film has it all. So I
Yeah.
definitely recommend it if you're a fan of horror and comedy.
And speaking of scary things, I look like Casper the Ghost due to this lighting right here. This freaky natural lighting.
No, it's hey, I'm pasty.
All right. So I don't think I have any more questions for you. So I joked the last or one of these interviews I did, I said I look like Casper with a black eye. So
You look
so
great. You look perfect.
uh, well, I guess that's about it then. I don't know when this will be published as an article, but it's also going to be a podcast episode. I hope they told you about that, but
Yeah,
um, you know,
I'll
so
definitely check it out. No, I love that.
thanks for answering my questions and
Yeah.
have a good day and nice to meet you and all that
Thank
stuff.
you so
So.
much. Yeah, appreciate your time, Wade. Thank you.